The minor representations that have nothing to do with the movie are such a big deal that now admin is in their room, pulling their teacher out, calling the students one by one down to the office to interrogate them in the middle of my lessons. And now there is an investigator from the Florida Department of Education coming to pull my students out of class again to investigate them individually.
A Florida teacher is currently facing a state investigation after showing the Disney movie Strange World to her 5th grade students. The movie, by the way, is pretty innocent. It's rated PG. Let's hear more from what she has to say.
And by the way, they don't even have to have a signed parent permission slip for that. The LGBTQ aspect of the movie, they're harmless. It's just a talked about crush, and it's only a couple lines in total scene time of just over 2 minutes. The parents in the movie kiss a lot, and that wasn't even brought up, and that's the issue.
Look, the hetero smooching, not a problem for a conservative school board member who has sparked this investigation. The real issue, as was noted in the video you just watched, had to do with the fact that the main character is not heterosexual and is attracted to someone of the same sex. But the movie isn't about that and barely even touches on that. In fact, what is the movie about? Well, Strange World, an animated sci-fi movie, was released by Disney in the late fall of 2022. The movie depicts a group of explorers who go on an adventure to find an exotic plant that serves as their society's source of energy. And conservatives don't like the movie apparently. And look, I don't want to generalize. It's one conservative school board member who was elected into the school board last fall, and she tries to get books banned. This is like the #1 thing she seems to be pretty passionate about. Her daughter was in the classroom as this film was shown, and the main character of the film, Ethan Clade, is gay, played by Jabuki Young White. Clade's storyline includes having a crush on another male character named Diazo. Critics blasted the movie as indoctrination, and Fox News said it was the latest in a year of woke disasters for Disney. And the film, to be fair to the right-wing zealots in the country, has been restricted in other countries. So they've got some company here, and that includes the Middle East, China, Indonesia, Turkey, Nigeria, Uganda, and other countries because of the very small LGBTQ storyline there. And Cenk, you said you've seen the film. I hope you didn't show it to your kids. I'm sure they were scandalized by it if you did.
Well, we did. We watched it together, and they remained entirely unscandalized. Okay, they barely noted that situation. I don't think they noted it at all, actually. And so, why? Because to them, it's not some weird or scandalous and outrageous thing for someone to be gay. It's a so what? And that's exactly what conservatives are worried about. They don't want it to be a so what. They want it to be a mark of shame to be gay. And they're really mad that it's not shameful anymore. And they want to go back to the bad old days where it is. And I like this, this last thing that Anna pointed out of like, hey, that's okay though. It is banned in other countries, like as the Republicans would say, Chinese Communist Party has banned it, and so are you proud? Are you proud that you're with the Chinese Communist Party? A number of Muslim countries have banned it. Uganda has banned it. So is that great company? Is that the company that right wingers want? They're like, yes, we're with the fundamentalist Muslims. Well, say it loud, say it proud, okay?
Yeah.
And guys, to me, the most important part of the story is we called it colloquially the "Don't Say Gay" bill. And Republicans freaked out. They're like, that's not what it says, man. This is so for not sexualizing the kids, etc. But in that movie, I watched it. There was no sexualizing of the gay character at all. There was some of the straight characters, but not of the gay character.
I know, but the straight character stuff, totally fine.
Yeah, of course.
Which, by the way, I also think is totally fine. Like who?
It's not overly sexualizing. It's like kissing.
It's a PG movie.
Yeah,
it's a PG movie.
But I'm talking about the straight characters. The gay characters didn't do anything. They didn't kiss. They didn't do anything. Okay. So when they say, "Oh yeah, we're bringing you up on this," they're basically admitting, yes, we don't want you to ever mention that there are gay people in the world.
Now, after being duped by Rebecca Jones, I wanted to make sure that there was confirmation that this teacher is in fact being investigated, and she is in fact being investigated. Her name is Jenna Barbie, and the Hernando County School District confirmed a 5th grade teacher, and that's Jenna Barbie, is being investigated for showing Strange World, and that a parent complained to the principal about the movie not being appropriate for students. The complaint sent to the Hernando County teacher states the Department of Education's Office of Professional Practices Services has determined an investigation is warranted into allegations that you engaged in inappropriate conduct. Now, the letter was signed by Randy Kosek, who is the chief of professional practices, under the words, "Please govern yourselves accordingly." And the situation needlessly escalated due to an overzealous school board member who was elected just last fall. Her name is Shannon Rodriguez, and you're about to hear Jenna Barbie talk about her in the next clip.
I was told by every teacher and mentor at our school that our method for approval by administration of showing movies was to have a signed parent permission slip for PG movies. I had that from the beginning of the year. The whole 5th grade team had signed permission slips for PG movies with no objections to specific content. I actually had one student who did have objection to specific content, not showing the Buzz Lightyear movie, but she wasn't in my classroom anymore, so it wasn't a big deal. The reason I was turned in is because one of the split students was a school board member's daughter. That school board member is currently on a rampage to get rid of every form of representation out of our schools. She even spent days this past week going to all the high schools to get rid of anything that had to do with representation whatsoever. She even had admin escort her to a teacher's classroom that had a sticker of a black hand and a white hand holding hands, and the white hand had a different color fingernail for every finger.
So as I mentioned earlier, the school board member who was elected last fall is Shannon Rodriguez. She was endorsed by the conservative group known as Moms for Liberty. And in her short tenure, she has argued there is smut and pornography on schools' library shelves and has asked for books to be removed. And in fact, at one point, the teacher, Miss Barbie, ended up having a meeting with her in order to discuss this complaint over this movie. And here's how that conversation went.
We had a meeting and I understood her perspective that, okay, she really doesn't want this shown at her house. I never saw that perspective before, so I didn't think it was a big deal. But seeing how upset she was, I told her, I understand my lesson, that's that. But come to find out, she had already reported me and there was nothing she can do about it.
And she also claimed that even though there were consent forms in the beginning of the school year, since the teacher did not send a specific consent form having to do with this specific film, well, then she can't say that she received approval from the parents to show this film in class. She also said this in an interview with the Tallahassee Democrat, quote, "It's not a teacher's job to impose their beliefs upon a child, religious, sexual orientation, gender identity, any of the above. But allowing movies such as this assist teachers in opening the door for conversations that have no place in our classrooms." But the teacher says this wasn't about teaching the students about gay relationships. In fact, the subject matter in the film actually addresses some of the subject matter we've been discussing in class, and she gets into the details of that in this clip. Let's watch.
I chose this movie because it relates to our curriculum. Our unit at the time was earth science and ecosystems and how they interact, plants, humans, animals. So this movie is perfect. My thought process was, what a better way to showcase all these standards along with huge lessons of overcoming differences, spreading kindness, communication, and chasing your dreams, a lot of which are in our social emotional Florida Best standards as well. Is a character in the movie LGBTQ? Absolutely. Is that why I showed it? No. I have a lot of 5th grade students who have come to me this year, long before showing this movie, talking about how they're part of that community as well.
You know, at a time when Florida, as with many other states, is facing a pretty severe teacher shortage, I think it's great that the officials there are spending their time micromanaging the educators and putting them under investigation for showing their students PG films that have to do with the subject matter that they're teaching in class. Really great use of resources there, guys.
So if you notice, the conservative critic there is like, oh, it brings up sexual orientation, but every movie that has straight couples in it arguably brings up sexual orientation because they're just straight. So they're admitting it every time accidentally. Like, straight people are okay. Anyone who's LGBTQ in any way, shape, or form is not okay. We don't want our kids to even know that they exist. The very fact that a teacher could expose our kids to the idea that there are gay people in this world, to us, is unacceptable. Don't tell me you're not about hate. Don't tell me that, because you're telling me with your actions that you're definitely about hate. You don't want gay people in the society, and you don't want our kids to even know that they exist. And God help those kids if one of them is LGBTQ. And by the way, statistically, obviously tons of them are. And they're saying, no, you must teach them hatred. Only thing that is acceptable is straight people. Anybody who's LGBTQ, we can't even, they're so bad, so terrible, we can't even have anyone talk about it in the classroom. Look, that's who you are, just live up to it, okay? Just own up to it. So look, the movie, again, I coincidentally watched it a couple of months ago with my family. It's totally about ecosystems, she's totally right. I mean, it is picture perfect for that category, right? I have to confess, I watched it and I said to the family afterwards, that is a super lib movie, right? That's gonna trigger conservatives. One, I know conservatives. One, it has a gay character, they're already super triggered, right? Secondly, it's like about climate change. People are nice to each other. They follow their own dreams instead of what the community demands. I was like, oh, the conservatives are gonna hate this movie, right? And they do. But guys, I watch conservative movies all the time.
You do?
So what?
Which ones? What conservative
I watch like every Viking show on Netflix, okay?
Oh.
And
is that conservative?
Yeah, because they circle the wagons and kill everyone who isn't in their tribe. Okay, it's like the most conservative thing you could do. Inside their tribe, they're good to one another. For every other tribe, we got a lot of axes coming in your direction, okay? And I'm not like, I'm triggered. It's just entertainment, okay? But at the end of the day here, yeah. No, the right wing has exposed themselves for who they are. By the way, if you're in the right wing and you don't believe that, well then vote based on it. And say to your own leaders, hey, I want the tax cuts, I want this, I want that, but could you not hate gay people? I'm not gonna vote for you if you do. That would be one way to address this. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.